Hi, Dad. Kelly and I were talking the other day, and we thought that it might be interesting to do a video, and that way, then you can kind of get a sense of talking to me without all the problems with the internet. Because right now, I think everybody is on the internet either for entertainment or that they're doing school. So this is my video message just to give you an update of what's going on in my part of the world, and I've also got another little video that I took yesterday, and it is of my complex, and it's a walk that I take every day. So I try to get out 2 or 3 times a day to get out and to walk, because I spend a lot of time in this room, and this is my office. So I have a 2-bedroom apartment, and then I have this office, which I'm really grateful for, because not everybody has an apartment quite like mine. And so some people have really small apartments, and they've been stuck in there for a few months. So this is my shift chalkboard. So I'm teaching this in grade 11. So I put it up there, and so I change it every couple of days. Whatever we need to do with it is what I put up there. Hopefully that they see that over my shoulder and remember. And I'm just going to turn my screen here a bit. And so this is, I've got a new shelf here that I bought from IKEA, and some books and stuff that I have still that I got from school, and my post-it note wall, so all the things I have to remember. And I'm going to show you something that I haven't shown anybody else, so you and Kelly will be the first. This water bottle was a water bottle, but what I do is I use it for exercise, and because it's hard to kind of move around, we're not really carrying anything, and so I use it for exercise, and it's 4.6 kilos. So that's what I've got, the water full of it. And then what I do is I use one hand to balance it, because it's too awkward not to. And so what I do is I do this. So I'm using one hand to balance, and then I do 3 reps on both sides 12 times. So that's along with walking. So that's where I'm getting exercise, and I don't want to have to buy any weights for sure. And so that's one of my makeshift ways. I just thought cheaper than buying weights. And then if we kind of go over here, then this is where I actually have books and stuff in storage. And then if we keep going around, this is my kitchen table, and it's a little bit messy, which is pretty standard there. I got flip chart paper, so the stuff I have behind me, I have laying over there so that it doesn't get wrinkled. And I'm going to try to do this. Yep, this is my entrance. You'll see this because I have it in my video. And so this is where I spend the majority of my time. So I honestly feel like I am in here 24/7. So, you know, I either go to the bathroom, the kitchen, or the bedroom. And so this is my world. And I have been off the compound a couple times, but not very often, mostly because a lot of things are closed, or one of the things they want is people to self-isolate and to just continue to give people distance. And so it seems like China generally is really respecting that. And so, you know, that social norm is being reinforced. And so I feel like that's what I can do to make sure that the coronavirus gets under control and then is limited here in China. And one of the things in Shanghai, the numbers have been really positive, and have continued to be really positive. So they're being very vigilant. So even in my compound, to get on my compound, you have to live in here. And so delivery people aren't allowed to deliver anymore, but they have things set up. So right outside the gate, I have delivery for food. So food is delivered on a normal basis anyways. That's how I always did it before. And now it's the same thing, more food delivery, I would guess, because we're all at home and not eating out so much. But I can also order food, so I can call one of the restaurants and order food, or actually I do it on an app, phone app, and they deliver. And so that's what they do there, is deliver food. You can also get things like the IKEA shelves I was showing you were delivered a couple weeks ago. And so life is really kind of moving forward. You can get almost everything you need. It's just that you sort of have to be inside. And I do feel quite lucky because the compound where I live is a reasonably large one, but it's also just really beautiful. There's tons of flowers and trees and paths and stuff, so you can get out and walk, and it feels like you're in a park, which helps with the attitude. You know, there's days where we had poor weather, and it just felt like, you know, I didn't go outside for days on end early on. And you think, you know, you get up by yourself, go to bed by yourself, talk to yourself, and it just got very isolating. But in the bigger picture, one of the things is making sure that the coronavirus doesn't spread. And one of the things that they know for sure is maintaining distance from other people, so that if people are coughing or sneezing, and that they get it on their hands, pass it that way. So that's one of the things I just want to ask you to do, is to be really, really vigilant. I know that you know this stuff, and I'm saying it to people who already know, but it makes me feel less worried, because I am worried, because I'm seeing news reports where people are still going out drinking and partying, or, you know, going to socialize, and you think, you can't do that. You have to, well, one of the things that they've talked to us about is that we're supposed to act like we already have coronavirus, and everybody else does. So that way, when we touch something, we recognize that it may actually have a virus on it, and that, you know, the next thing is I touch my face and suddenly I've got an issue. And it's those things where you don't think, you know, because it's one thing to say, well, I've got to grab the door handle and think, oh, I'll wash that. But at the you know, it's the little things. Like, I was at the grocery store and I wiped down the handle, and, you know, the little kind of little small rack they had, but then I was grocery shopping and I realized I grabbed the wire part of it and pulled the side of the thing towards me, and you kind of go like, so I had my wipe, and then I wiped it all down, and so I'm always kind of wiping things. You know, I've got all the supplies I need. I brought them from Kazakhstan, so I'm really grateful for that. Though one of the things is the compound where I live, and I think most compounds, the registration office offers you face masks and gloves. They don't have an unlimited supply, but it's enough to get you so that you can get in and out a little bit. And the school also offered to give me some supplies if I needed it, and I don't, so I declined. But I know that if I needed anything, I can get it. And these are the wipes that they're selling here. And so when I first got here, I tried to order some, and there were none. But it only took, I put my name on a list since it said I'm waiting for them, and then 2 days later they came in, and I got to buy 2 packs, which I've got lots. I've got enough to last me, and I've got some personal ones, so that I can, when I go out, I can take the personal wipes and I can wipe them down and whatever, and each are individually wrapped, so even more sanitary. And so we can get toilet paper. We don't have panic buying with food, so I was a bit worried because it seemed like we ran out of mozzarella cheese, but that only really lasted a couple weeks, and then the mozzarella cheese came back, and I was grateful for that. Holy smokes. So otherwise, we're, you know, kind of as normal, and it seems like food is easily available, whatever I need. So toilet paper, wipes, they're still a little bit hard to get. It's not like, you know, they're just dozens and dozens on the shelf, but there are stuff on the shelf, so you can go and get some. And they keep kind of replacing, and so it doesn't, you know, like yesterday I had pizza with ham and pineapple and mozzarella cheese, and then it had blueberries and raspberries, because I couldn't decide which one I wanted. So fresh fruit and vegetables are easily available, and the prices seem about the same, so it doesn't seem to be a problem at all. And so, you know, in comparison, China seems very relaxed and quite calm and kind of moving about, kind of a new normal. But the movie theater is opened up, and so I'm assuming that they're probably not letting people sit together, but that way, you know, they're distancing people out, which I think is just fine. So I might try to go to the movie theater and see if I can help get some of those people back to work. I went to my hairdresser last Saturday, and he said his business is down to 25%, and so he's really struggling because he's trying to make rent and stuff. That being said, the government has been giving money to people, so I got offered money and I just declined because I don't need it. And like I said, I'm getting my full salary, so I paid my full rent. But one of the other things they said is asking landlords to forgive people's rent, and I didn't ask for it, and I just paid my rent as normal. I figure like everybody needs to make sure that we are spending money and then money's in the economy. So I don't have to deal with panic buying, and I don't have to worry about that somebody else will have got the food and I won't. So I'm utterly confused at how people are doing that. And and I guess they're thinking about themselves. I heard the other day that I think it was in Edson that the food bank was robbed. I don't know if that's a true story or not, but you're just like, they give food away. Why would you rob them? So it's kind of silly. Maybe it's good to be indoors because then you won't see some of these silly people. So anyways, things are getting back to normal. We're expecting we might be back to school mid-April. I don't know if that's actually going to happen because the coronavirus is under control here, except for the expats who are coming back, who now feel like China is the safest place to be and want to come back, and they're bringing coronavirus. So there's an uptick in coronavirus, but it's from outside. And so what they're doing is when people fly in at the airport, they are in quarantine until it's determined whether they have coronavirus or if they come from a hotspot. So people are being forced into quarantine, and they get food and stuff, they get medical services. And if you're not in quarantine, then what they'll do is they'll bring you to your apartment, and then what happens is you're brought to your apartment with people in hazmat suits, no less. And then the officials in our compound, the registration office, will put a note on your door that indicates to everybody that you are in quarantine, and so you're not allowed to leave your apartment. So somebody will deliver food to your door and take your garbage, and a health professional will come and check on you. And so they check every day to check your temperature at 9 o'clock and at 1:30. Check your temperature to make sure that you're good. And once you meet your 14 full days of quarantine, so 14 full days, not 14 any days. So that usually means that people are in quarantine really for 15 to 16 days. Then you can move about, and you'll get on your phone a little app. And what the app does is it creates this picture of a green sticker. And if you have a green sticker, it means that you can move about more freely. So if I go to, which I've got, is if I go to the mall, I'll have my temperature taken. On a piece of paper, I'll write my name and my phone number, and I show them my app with my green sticker. And what it does is register that I was at the mall, and that's kind of twofold. So if I happen to have coronavirus, then it'll alert the other people in the mall that there was somebody in the mall who had coronavirus, and that they need to then stay home until they're sure they don't have any symptoms. And same for me, is that I would be alerted that at the mall there was somebody who had coronavirus and that I should be vigilant. And so that way they keep checking and double checking that everybody is healthy. And if I need anything, for example, I have to check in every morning and it goes through my school, but it's a countrywide app. And so what I do is I check in the morning at 7:40 with my temperature, and then I do it again before 5 o'clock. And it asks me questions like if I agree to let them collect the information, and then it asks for my GPS coordinates, which I can adjust a little bit, but I can't really make too many adjustments. So I have to just let it choose. And so sometimes it puts me a little further away, and I can adjust it. It's just a couple blocks, and I just adjust it to show that I'm actually right here, which is fine because it gives me a list of a few choices that I can have. So I'm not allowed to change that in any way. So I have to let the GPS establish coordinates, and then it'll ask if I have ever had coronavirus, and then it asks if I have any symptoms, and then it asks if I have any change. So, you know, have a cold, do I have anything else? If I answer yes, then somebody will call me and check on me, and somebody will come in to a health analysis to see if I'm fine. And if so if I had coronavirus and it was a mild case, then I'll stay home, and somebody will check on me every day. And if it's a severe case or it changes into a severe case, then I would be hospitalized. And then the quarantine would be a lot more significant, because then obviously I'd be in a hospital somewhere. And they have special, I've never seen any of them come here. So what I understand is they would have hazmat suits, and they would come and take me out of my apartment and in a quarantined way, which I'm not really sure what that would look like. And I've just heard about it, and whisk me away. And then the people around me would be informed that somebody in the building had coronavirus. So nobody has, because I haven't seen anything, but I've had a neighbor just move in yesterday. So now we've got a neighbor, and I don't know, they're going to be noisy or whatever, but I can't complain. There's only 2 apartments on each floor, so it's pretty good. And I'm on the other side. I'm on a wall side, so it's pretty quiet over here. So lots of checks and balances. So one of the things is I just want to ask you to be really vigilant about being away from other people. So I'm hoping that Kelly will set up your garage and bolt your chairs to the floor, so that you guys are all going to be 2 meters away from each other, and that's how it should be. And so, you know, you have to be really careful, like with anybody touching anything. Everything has to be wiped down, and it's not just enough for you to wash your hands. Because one of the things that I think I've already said this, is, you know, we have to act like we already have coronavirus and everybody else has it. So we touch anything, we wash, we wipe. And so when I got my hair done, I was in a taxi. So I opened the door. I don't know where that door handle has been. So I got in, shut the door, took out my wipes, and I wiped my hands, and then I wiped the door. And I wiped the release latch. And if I don't do that, then the taxi driver will pass me a package and say, please clean. So that then I make sure that I didn't get anything, and that I don't pass it along if there is any chance that I have anything, which so far, knock on wood, I don't. I did have a cold, and I sneezed the other day outside, which caused no end of grief. Like, people looked at me like, what? And I mean, they're already pretty cautious. So when I go for a walk, if I'm walking on the sidewalk and somebody walks towards me, one of us gets on the road, so we give everybody distance. So everybody walks around everybody else, which is uncomfortable for sure. I just don't like that. I feel like you know, the scourge of the earth. But then at the same time, that's exactly what they need, is everybody to stay away from each other. And so you need to make sure that happens, Dad, because I'm worried, because you are a part of that health group that is most at risk. And you know, and if you get sick, it's going to be, from what I've read, the symptoms sometimes can still be mild for older people, but more often you're at risk for a severe case of coronavirus. And, you know, and then Kelly's coming over there, you know, trying to check in. So, you know, the people around you are also are at risk. So I know I'm preaching to the converted, and I know that it's a pain, but I just want you to be safe. And I want people to all over Canada to be vigilant, because it's the only way we're going to get a grip on this. And until we get a vaccine, is to kind of establish that social distance. And I guess that's going to be the new norm until we know that we can manage and deal with this. And it's a good reminder when you realize that we take our health for granted. You know, suddenly, I was talking to Ty yesterday, and it was interesting because suddenly, you know, janitors, for example, are, you know, frontline workers. You think, thank God we have the janitors here who are cleaning, and there they are cleaning, even, you know, knowing, for example, that there might be coronavirus around them. and they're the ones who are wiping down everything. And so, really grateful for those kind of people, the people on the buses, the metro, because they're wiping down everything and they're trying to keep things moving, and yet there they are, interacting with thousands of people or hundreds of people, and taxi drivers and people at the grocery stores. And you think those people who are going to work every day and having to touch things that other people have touched, it has got to be stressful at times. So you take a look and you think, well, it really does remind you about who we need and who can help us when we need it the most. And so anyways, enough of the sermonizing, but Dad, I just ask that you really, really are careful. I know that you might want to have your friends over. I ask that you don't, but I know that that's kind of difficult to do. But if you do and you're in the garage, make sure that everybody is a safe distance away. If you're having beers, then everybody needs to be making sure that they wipe their hands down, and maybe they wash their hands before they come in with soap and water. And if somebody else touches something, then you don't touch it, or if you touch it, they don't touch it. And just to be careful, because it'd be terrible if you got sick, and it'd be terrible if somebody got sick because we weren't careful. So anyways, I'm gonna let you go, Dad, because now we're at 21 minutes. Oh Lord, I was gonna try to keep it down to 10, but that is just clearly impossible. So, but I feel like I chatted with you at least a little bit. So if you like this, let Kelly know, and I can do some more. And Kelly can also videotape you, and she can share it with me. So we can have these weird conversations where you chat a little bit and I chat a little bit. That would be fun, actually. And so yeah, that would be really neat, actually. So if you wouldn't mind, maybe a video message in return would be nice, Dad. And you can show me that you have bolted tables or bolted chairs in 4 corners of the garage, and that's where everybody will sit. And that would be good. Otherwise, Dad, take care, and I love you, and I'll see you in your message. Bye, Dad.